The snowy shenanigans of St. Patrick's Day. Outside, the world was a giant marshmallow. It was St. Patrick's Day, but the thermometer read a shivering 21 degrees. Fatima looked out the window, her dark hair framed by the frosty glass. The schools were closed, and the streets were quiet, but Fatima had a very important place to be. Her mother, Gulsen, came in with a bright, encouraging smile. "The day program is still having the lunch party, Fatima," she said. Fatima's eyes lit up with excitement. She loved a good party, and she loved seeing her friends. Together, they looked at the festive clothes laid out on the bed, ready for a day of luck and laughter. First came the shamrock leggings, covered in dozens of tiny green leaves. Then, the best part, the black t-shirt that said, "Let the shenanigans begin," in big, bold green letters. Even though Fatima didn't use words to speak, her joyful expression said everything. She was ready for some serious holiday fun. But wait, 21 degrees is very, very cold. Gulsen pulled out a thick, green Christmas sweater to layer on top. It had beautiful rows of white, orange, and dark green hearts and diamonds across the chest and shoulders. Safety first and warmth second, Gulsen laughed as she helped Fatima pull the cozy wool over her head. Figaro, the family's striped tabby cat, decided he wanted to join the fashion show. He jumped onto Fatima's lap, purring like a tiny, warm motor. He rubbed his cheek against her hand, his tail waving like a furry flag. Fatima leaned her head toward him, sharing a quiet, snowy morning moment of friendship before the big trip. In the driveway, Dad Levent was busy shoveling a path through the drifts. The snow was deep and heavy, but he was determined to get the day started. He wore a heavy coat and a warm hat, tossing white clouds of snow into the air with his shovel. He looked up and saw Fatima at the door, giving her a big, enthusiastic thumbs up. Levent carefully guided Fatima's wheelchair down the ramp and toward the family van. The cold air pinched their cheeks, turning them a rosy pink, but the sun was trying to peek through the winter clouds. Fatima felt the bumpy crunch of the snow beneath her wheels. It was an adventure just getting to the car. When they arrived at the day program, the room was a sea of emerald green. Fatima's friend Clover was already there, wearing a giant sparkly green hat that shimmered under the lights. Clover rolled her own wheelchair over to greet her, her face beaming with a huge smile. "You made it!" Clover cheered. The lunch was a wonderful feast of green-themed treats and festive music. The room was filled with the sound of laughter and the clinking of plates. Fatima sat tall, her green sweater bright against the shamrock decorations on the walls. She didn't need to say a single word to feel the pulse of the music and the incredible warmth of her community. Later that evening, Fatima was back home, safe and snug. The snow was still falling silently outside the window, but inside, everything was warm. Figaro curled up at her feet as she rested from her big day. It had been a day of cold winds and warm hearts, a perfect St. Patrick's Day, where the shenanigans truly did begin.